Hey guys, I got this leftover butcher block from a kitchen countertop that I did for a client, and we're going to be turning this into one end grain cutting board and then two smaller face grain cutting boards. And I'm going to inlay with some mahogany and red oak over there. I'm not sure what kind of wood this is on this butcher block. It is definitely a hardwood. I would imagine some type of oak, but these colors right here that are kind of showing through, these lighter browns that kind of intermix. Ash, hickory. I really have no guess at it. But we're going to cut this up for the end grain cutting board, and then I'm probably going to do the face grain cutting boards on a live stream in a couple of days. So what we're going to do is end up making the end grain cutting board about 14 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a rip about at 14 inches, and then we're going to set up the crosscut sled and batch out all of our pieces. Alright, this is going to get used with some of my other stuff over there. Probably cut it in half right about here, but I'm going to inlay various strips to make this into two cutting boards. Let's slide this out of our way. Our next step is to change out our blade and our table saw for a cross-cut blade. Extremely important. Safety first. Let's unplug the saw. Alright, now that that's changed out, I'm about to set up the crosscut sled. And one thing about it, if I had a full eighth inch curve combination blade, I might leave it on the saw just a little bit more. But a thin curved combination blade is almost no good for ripping anything over like 3/4 of an inch. You get a lot of deflection in your cuts. So I couldn't leave it on the saw for cross cuts and rips, unless maybe it was an 1/8 inch curve. Then I probably could, get away with, ripping at least boards 1.5 inches. We'll see though. I'll probably end up getting a Freud or a CMT combination blade one day. Alright, let's slide that in there. Let's remove that. Take our stop off and let us set our blade height. That will work. Alright, first thing I want to do is take a quick clean pass right here to clean this edge up, and then we're going to start using the stop block to batch out all these pieces. And just like that, we have several strips, all 1.25 inches thick for this end grain cutting board. Alright, let's get over here to the workbench and we'll lay out the glue up. Alright, so now we're about to start with this glue up. Let's see, I will leave that one dry and fold everything that way. Nope. Fold everything this way. And just like that, the first one is glued up. Let's go ahead and set up and do the second one. Alright, so I actually had enough to get 2 of the end grain cutting boards. These are about 10.5, almost 11 inches by about 14.5 inches. So I think these will actually make sizable end grain cutting boards. I typically try to aim for about 12 by 15, give or take. But these are going to be gifts that I give away to clients. So I think, as I trim this one down, we should end up with at least 10 by 14, and that's a sizable cutting board, and it's at least an end grain cutting board, so they'll have more use out of it, last them longer, and serve their knives a little bit better. So let's get this glue up situated. We are going to fold them all back this way. We'll let these dry up, and then we'll set up the router sled so we can flatten up all these boards. Hey guys, in the next video, we're actually going to delve into how I built my router sled and how I make it functional with my bench top, using my bench dog holes and everything else. It's really unique, and it works perfectly for my use cases. It actually is functional for any one of my workbenches, since they all have the same MFT style holes on 4-inch centers. But I decided for the last little bit of this video, I'll show you guys how awesome melamine is for a bench top. This is all the glue ups from this previous set of cutting boards, and I love how easy the glue flakes off. It's almost therapeutic, really. I love scraping glue off my workbench. So sometimes I let it pile up. I love doing a job where I can get kind of messy with the glue, because I can kind of scrape it all off and then blow it off on the floor. If you guys have enjoyed this process of building these cutting boards, getting them cut down to size, and all the glue ups, in the next video we delve into building a custom router sled, using the router sled to actually flatten both sides of our end grain cutting boards. And then I'll show you guys a custom branding iron that I actually ordered from Amazon. I give a little review on that, and then I'm going to show you guys my new favorite finish for my cutting boards, strictly because of how easy it is to apply and how durable it is. And most clients will actually be able to either get a butcher block oil or a boil linseed oil, from Home Depot. So instead of going with the Ollie's oil like I typically do for cutting boards, especially ones that are going to be gifts to other clients that I might not see again to refinish it later with Ollie's oil, boil linseed oil is going to be my new finish for all my cutting boards. So in the next video, we delve through actually getting these finished up, and I hope you guys are ready for it. If you guys are excited, let me know down below. Smash that like button, leave me a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.